Hey guys, I'm gonna do some testing slugs today, or projectiles today. And it's not a competition, so to speak, but I want to make it more educational, I guess. So we have some BK Devastator clones that DK Spencer sent me, and also have some, I believe these were made with an M17 mold from Mr. LLC himself. So I've chosen these two particular ones to test because going through the selection that they both sent me, I found these to be the most equivalent in weight. So that's a BK 10.67, 10.77, 10.74, 10.68, 10.74. So those are all BK slugs. Mr. LLC, 10.75. 10.74, 10.71, 10.79, 10.75. So you can see they all vary a little bit to some degree, but this was as close as I could kind of get to have a test running back to back. So we're going to call it 10.75 grams for the purposes of testing. But here's where things get strange. So maybe Mr. LLC can comment down below there. I believe he uses M17 mold. And these work out, the bore size on these to be about 687. This is a Grimberg barrel. You can see they are kind of tight in there. Now, there's no doubt they will shoot through there. Some of them fit better than others. Like that one right there. That's probably ideal for the Grimberg barrel, but these are the BK Devastator clones, and they go flying through here. And actually, if you plug the end of the barrel and drop it in, oops, I'm gonna get past that part there. Well, that wasn't a good example, but that one fit a little tighter than this one did. Plugging the end of the barrel, you can actually slow the projectile, which is building a vacuum in there. So again, that's an ideal bore size. So I'm going to test with the Grimberg, knowing that these M06 slugs are a little bit tighter in here. So I'll mention that during the test, but we're going to compare these two projectiles back to back in the Grimberg barrel and also in the Valken rifled barrel, 11.5 inch. And here I'll show you what these are the LLC slugs. They fit very nicely down this barrel. No problem. And the BK, obviously they do because they're a little bit smaller. So I expect that these may do better, but you just never know until you test. One thing to note though, the Valken barrel, well, you guys know this already, is the Valken barrels have this O-ring on them, and that O-ring prevents this barrel from backing out, and it does in less lethal. You're pounding that bolt and the vibration actually slowly backs your barrel out, which doesn't happen with that O-ring. So I may experiment with something on just a regular A5 barrel, maybe some thread tape or something, because it does get a little bit annoying that it wants to back itself out. Maybe an O-ring, I don't know. Oh, one more thing. They do all fit very nicely in the standard Valken magazine. I mean, they look the part. Let's hope they act the part. Okay, first up is the LLC M17 projectiles. 7.75 gram is what I'm gonna, sorry, 10.75 gram is what I'm gonna call these. I'm just gonna test 5 of them at a time. First will be the Grimberg barrel, 800 PSI output. And I will top the bottle up between each test, just for validity. Okay. $280. $310. $310. $310. One more. $310. Wow. Actually, that's impressive for a 10.75 gram projectile. Through the Grimberg barrel. So those projectiles, if you remember, they ran a little bit tight in the Grimberg. So next up, I'm gonna test the BK. First we're gonna top the tank up. And I also just gonna confirm, yeah, the next one in the chamber was a BK or DK. Devastator clone. Okay. Same barrel, Grimberg barrel. And I had a jam. Indeed I did. I had a flip. So, what are we gonna do here? Well, we're gonna have to pause the video here because I didn't take into account if I did get a jam. I can't release my quick connect here to bleed the pressure off, so I'm gonna have to actually take my bottle off and unscrew it to bleed the pressure out of the chamber. And this is exactly where some sort of self-bleeding ASA would prove very useful, or an additional bleed down screw, which I'm still working on something that I like, but perfect example right here. I can actually show you the jam, and it doesn't look very good in there. That slug went completely sideways. It flipped, and it actually looks like it broke my shit. It looks like it broke my little feed. The CQ has a spacer in there. Fuck, that's not good. So I'll get back to you guys. All right, the jam has been removed. You can see the damage to the projectile. It looks like it flipped in the breech. Kind of disappointed that it did, seeing as how the M06 did not flip. There isn't any damage to the barrel. Maybe a little nick there, but I am gonna cautiously try and test this again. But another jam like that, and I think I'm unfortunately not going to try these projectiles again. And it's another reason why, guys, I run round ball only. This never happens with round ball. And that was my first shot. Now, if you're gonna use this in a defensive situation, that would not have turned out well. Upon closer inspection, it did flare the barrel end, so yeah, I'm a little disappointed with that. Hopefully it doesn't affect the barrel too poorly, but nonetheless, I think my shape projectile testing's done. Round ball only. This kind of stuff can happen. Not only can it be expensive, well, it could also put you in a terrible situation. In no way is this a knock against anybody's ammo. I think DK has extensively tested his ammo in a multitude of markers, and just like anything, I think they can work good in some and not in others, and maybe the M17 is one of those. But I will say this was the first time I have ever run anybody's homemade ammo. I know I see lots of videos of guys making their own, and you know, all the power to them. If you can get that stuff to shoot reliably enough that you could put your trust in it, then have at her. There was a reason a long time ago I chose round ball, and it was a simple fact: jams can and do occur even with round ball, but much less problematic. And you saw there the M06 ones cycled perfectly fine. Could it be a weighted issue, a balance in the ammo, and the way the magazine feeds that particular ammo? It probably is. I'm just not interested in finding the resolution to shooting a particular type of shape projectile, at least not at this point. Nothing shows me that a round ball isn't any better. Ease of use, and they less likely to actually break upon impact, which is great when you're just target shooting in your garage. I mean, sure, you can stack them on top of each other, they're gonna break, and they do. Actually, because I did break a Canada Riot ball. This is the first one in a very, very long time. These balls are old. These are really old. You can see this one, these two smacked on top of each other during one of my auto fire cycles. So stuff does happen. But for the purpose of finishing off on a good note, I cleaned my marker out, all the broken bits. I've got the Grimberg barrel back in there. Canada Rye balls, never failed me. I'll put, I think I'll just put 3 rounds out of this Grimberg, and then I'll switch to the Valken. This is a little bit big a bore for the Canada Rye balls, but still curious to see what it'll shoot. It is longer. So probably still see a gain, but maybe not so much so. Well guys, what you just saw there was auto fire, but not caused by my previous ASA problems. That was the sear jammed. And this has happened, this is the second instance this has happened. And I think it's because I've been running, your regular 15 millimeter spring that you buy to upgrade the trigger group, I ran a 20 millimeter. That was the first instance. And the second instance, which just happened, you just witnessed, was the 15 millimeter with the shim. So I removed the shim now, we're back. But we're gonna both learn something here. Because originally I was thinking that ball bump that you get with the M17 was related to the sear spring being sort of on the weaker side, which is my reasoning for shimming or going even longer than the 15 millimeter that I originally had done. But as you know, I'm running the Detent hack where I run an FS Detent backing a, well in this case, this is a Tippmann TIPX Detent in here, but you can do the same with an M17. So I want to know, was it the sear spring eliminating that bump, or was it a detent problem? So, as we were again, 9.9 gram. Let's see, does it bump? Well, let me point this in a safe direction just in case. Ha! See? Not crazy. Sometimes it just takes time, guys, to figure things out. It looks like in this case it is a detent problem with the M17, and they are kind of weak out of the box, so it looks like that might actually be the fix and not the sear spring. So, well, not the extra long sear springs that I've been running. So let's test this. This is the Grimberg barrel, 800 PSI, 9.9 gram. $328. That is almost 324, 50 joules, guys. 324. 326, almost 50 on 800 PSI. So let's just finish it off with, I'm gonna swap to the Valken barrel. Yes, it's not ideal for round ball, being that it's rifled. Ooh. This barrel's kind of sticky in here now because of that flared end. Kind of a bummer, but barrels can be replaced. 11.5-inch. I expect I'll probably see some gains, just because it's longer, a lot longer than most of these barrels that I've been testing with. There you go. Doesn't look too terrible. .314, but it does not perform as good. Wow. Yeah, guys. Kind of disappointed. They aren't cheap barrels by any means, and actually this Valken barrel costs about as much as my Grimberg barrel here. But it is rifled. Rifled, generally I lose all kinds of FPS using round balls, so it probably does suit a shape projectile better. Fortunately, I'm just not worth, it's not worth me busting my marker up today. So that's where those are gonna end. I will save the shape projectiles for a revolver, which I need to add to my collection.